Hey, what is going on? Welcome to Beautiful Start Podcast. I am your host, Antoinette. And if this is your first time tuning into the YouTube page, definitely subscribe. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being a part of the channel. So today's topic is freeing yourself. Okay. Um, I hope you guys have had an amazing day. My day has been very eventful and positive and pretty slow to say the least. Um, but I am here on this live. I know I don't really go live on this channel as much as I should go live, but I'm changing that. Okay. So getting into this topic of freeing yourself, okay? This topic definitely resonates with me because I had to work on myself um so hard for so many years, because I just didn't feel free. And I'm pretty sure that there are so many people out there that can identify with this feeling, whether it is um, a belief that's keeping you stuck or whether it is something more physical, somebody actually, you hold somebody to a high esteem, and they have a lot of control over your life. Now, I've been in a situation where someone has had control over my life for many years, and I held this person to a certain high esteem before I realized that everything they was telling me was a whole bunch of BS, you know. And it kept me in this state where I did not feel free, you know. And so um once I became aware of the situation, I had to free myself straight like that, right? Because before that, it it was me hindering my growth as a woman. And I know that, excuse me, um I know that there are so many people that kind of like hinder growth as, oh my God, I'm so sorry. um Excuse me, I'm over here burping and you know matter of fact, let me drink some water because it's live. That's the only thing about being live. It's like you can't really edit nothing out. Things that happen, and you hiccuping, you coughing, you know what I'm saying, all this stuff, you know yeah. So it's so many people that kind of like hinder their own growth because of the things that they have gone through, and then they kind of like made themselves put themselves in a box and kept themselves in a certain position because they feel like that is safe. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to get yourself out of that situation. You have to grow. As a woman, we have after as a woman, as a man, as a human being, um, you know, point blank period, you have to grow. You have to um move in certain situations. You definitely have to kind of like move forward. And sometimes people cannot embrace change. Sometimes people perceive change as not good. Um, some people think that change is not a way of freeing themselves because they are so caught up and used to being um who they are, or for things to be the way they have been for so many years. And that's understandable. Like, I don't really judge anyone who have allowed themselves to be in a certain position for so long. I'm not going to do that, because at the end of the day, I don't really know what anyone else is really going through. I only know what I've been going through and how it feels to me. And then also, like, um the perception that I have. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I kind of keep into mind, because one thing about freeing yourself, if you get to free yourself from all kinds of things, like, right, you could free yourself from being too critical on yourself, being judgmental, being hard on yourself. And sometimes when people are that way, it's because it has been instilled in them from when they was little. Like, you may have had a parent who wanted you to play a certain who wanted you to play a certain who wanted you to play to be a part of a certain field. How can I say that? You know, to whether if it's football, right? Soccer. Well, soccer and football is the same thing in certain other countries, um, who wanted you to do certain studies, um, who wanted you to be a certain way, to carry you a certain way, who didn't really, um, who did not agree with certain beliefs that you may have had, or certain ideas. It's open with that. And I have to apologize for it taking a while for me to kind of like go into that. But it is what it is. This is definitely live. But um, with that, sometimes it uh, keeps you in it, it allows you to be in a critical state of yourself. And it's like, you don't want to be too judgmental on yourself, because at the end of the day, like, we live in our life, especially when you're young. It's like there's no manual book that people give you, like, okay, here goes the book, and this is how you should be living your life, according to your age bracket that you're in, you know, according to how you feeling. No, it's like you really learn how you are. As you growing, you are learning. And a lot of people learn through mistakes, learn through just experience in life. It doesn't really necessarily have to be mistakes, but people are learning as they growing. But the reality is that when you have a dialogue or open communication form, right, it should always be someone there to tell you, like, okay, well, when I went through that, I experienced this, you know? Or when I came through that dilemma, I made this choice, you know? But I'm gonna be very candid, right? Some people don't even want to hear your story. They don't care about your story, right? Because they the main character. So it's like, at the end of the day, like, if you the main character and you make a choice that, your opinion or what you experience in this life don't matter, then they have to kind of live their life. And with living your life, sometimes you're going to make mistakes. Sometimes you're going to realize, like, okay, well, this is not the path that I want to be on. I thought I wanted to be with a celebrity because they were rich, but then I realized they just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? They got flaws too. You know, oh, I thought because I've been through a domestic violence relationship, if I get with a celebrity, they not gonna be abusive. They got everything in order. They got money, but then they was the most abusive. Like, who the hell knows? Right? I'm just throwing out stuff out there. So it's just like some people choose to explore life and figure it out on their own, rather than taking someone else's advice who been through it, reading books, or just, some people out there who just have insight, and that's just what it is. They know, um because of the open viewpoint that they may have, right? But some people don't even want to maneuver their life like that. Some people want to maneuver their life like, as a free spirit, like, okay, this is how I'm living. Whatever comes, comes. And it is what it is, right? And there's some people that are not really living their life like that, and they want other people's opinion. You know what I'm saying? And it's important to kind of like, you know, I feel like if someone's asking you for your opinion, like, provide it. Hey, if that is what you want to do. But what I realize is that everyone do judge. Like, people judge people all the time. And sometimes we judge ourselves. We are very critical on ourselves. We are very hard on ourselves. Um, and you may say to yourself, like, well, sometimes you could be like um, critical, but it's not as bad, because you really didn't have no one to instill nothing that's just horrendous into you, so it could be superficial, like, oh, well, you have brown hair, you want blonde hair type of shit, like something very superficial, nothing too life altering, right? But it's some people out there who just want to mimic what someone else is doing, like everything, like they just so like comparing themselves to other people. It's just like sometimes you have to love yourself, right? And I just did an episode on self-love and loving yourself and being happy with you. I mean, like 100%, like, you know what I'm saying? But there's some people out there who's just not content with themselves. They not content at all, down to their fingertips, like down to their toenails. You know what I'm saying? They don't like nothing about themselves. They're so judgment. They're so hard on themselves. They give themselves kind of like difficult tasks to achieve because they want a perfect life. They want their life to be so perfect and everything to be so right based off of their perception of how life should be. And that's not how, that's not realistic. It's just really not. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, even when you see people um, who be very excessive with plastic surgery, you know what I'm saying, may start off like, oh, well, I don't like how my breasts look. You know, I don't like how my stomach look. I don't like how my legs look. You know, I don't like how, you know, the shape of my face. Like it's just it's always something that they don't like about themselves. And it's like you just gotta free yourself from this aspect of being perfection. Cause that's something that really doesn't really exist. Right? Um when I was young, I used to look on like these magazines. Magazines back in my day used to be a huge, big things. Maybe now people are kind of like into websites and um, stuff like that, like everything that's like virtual, you know. And now I guess the magazines and the photos and stuff could be probably like replaced with AI. I don't really know. I'm just guessing. But I feel like now you could kind of like alter things yourself. Like even with like if even if you post a photo, you could kind of like go on a photo and be like, "Oh, well, I think my hips could be a little bit smaller. I think my lips could be, you know, smaller. My eyes could be chinky. My hair could be, you know, longer than what it is." I mean, like you could use Photoshop to do whatever. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But when I was young, looking at the magazine, I just felt like, oh, these women are so perfect. But then as I got older, because I feel like when I was younger, I was more influential. And it's just like when you know what I'm saying, when you're young and you have when someone's, you know, messing with your mind, because that's what it is. It's like people try to mess with your mind about how beauty should, how beauty is, like the perception of beauty. Yeah. I always like to talk about the 90s because that's essentially what I grew up in. You know what I'm saying? Some people would uh label me as an auntie, but I really don't I don't really give a fuck about stereotypes. You know, I live life and I'm alive. I didn't die young. You know what I'm saying? I'm alive and I feel good, you know, and I'm grateful for where I'm at in life. But it's just like um during the time when I was growing up, it was just like this idea of being like extra skinny. And it was so weird because it's like you got like certain people who kind of like wanted to fall in the lines of mainstream beauty and want you to be extra skinny and stuff like that. But then you had other guys who, you know, wanted you to have like big hips and a big butt and like be naturally who you are. And it was like really into like natural beauty. But it's like if you even it's just like a propaganda in a way of like when you watch certain things you think, oh, your eyebrows should be extra thin. Like back then it was like, oh, your eyebrows had to be like you should have to cut all your eyebrows off and then just draw them in. And that was beauty. Like straight up and down. Like that's just what it was. Um and if you bought into that, then you would try to live up to that standard of beauty. And it's like, it's really no standard of beauty to me. Like, when I think about it now, it's just really you loving yourself and accepting yourself for who you are and where you are at in your life. Even if you say to yourself, well, I want to gain weight, right? Because it's people out there that's like 90 pounds and they don't, and they want to gain weight. I had someone tell me like, well, you know, I've been 90 pounds for so long, you know, and I want to gain weight. I want to be like 190. You feel what I'm saying? Like they want to be bigger. Or you may have people out there who's, you know, bigger, like, oh, I'm 300 pounds and I want to go down to 220, you know? And it's like, there are people out there who are personal trainers and who are educated in this aspect in this field. And it's like, I think people should link up with that, or even if they don't want to work with people, people written books that you could follow that helps you to achieve whatever goal that you want to achieve based off of physicality, based off of how you look or whatever, you know. But there's no reason to be critical on yourself and judge yourself and make yourself feel like crap. That's not self-love. That's self-loathe. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to love yourself where you are at in your life. Whether, even if you're not where you want to be at. Like, oh, you too big, you too small, right? But where you are at now, you need to love yourself and then like work towards where you want to be at. That's ultimately where it kind of like boils down to, kind of like working towards that. And I don't think people, want to work towards where they want to be at and freeing themselves of being critical, because you don't have to judge yourself like anybody. Like, I feel like whether it's a celebrity, a regular person, whatever, an influencer, whatever, it's some things they want to fix about themselves. It's some things that they don't like. Sometimes people don't like their past, and so that's why they solely immerse themselves in the present moment and focus on that. And that's what it's ultimately about. And some people know how to do it, and some people don't. They just do not know how to do that. And so they allow themselves to be in the present moment and be miserable and be sad and be down and not doing nothing because they mad about something that is no longer. And it's like you have to free yourself from that. You definitely have to free yourself from that kind of being too critical on yourself. And freeing yourself from toxic people and certain attitudes that you may have. Like sometimes you have to eliminate that. And some people don't even know how to um, shift and put themselves in another mindset to kind of like make that happen. They've been thinking the way they've been thinking for the past 10 years, and they continue to think that way, and they continue to bring themselves low. And it's like, no, you have to elevate yourself. You have to make yourself um, feel better, right? And it's like essentially freeing yourself is also in, creating a new path for yourself. That's what you're doing. You know what I'm saying, right? But some people don't know how to do that, so um they keep themselves stuck, right? But you have to free yourself from things that do not benefit you as a whole. It doesn't benefit you to self loathe, aka self hate, to be so judgmental on yourself that you're not working on yourself, that you're not taking time out to practice self care, to practice self love, to do things that are going to make you feel better about yourself, right? Some people are just focused on a quick fix. Quick fix ain't it. It's just not it. You gotta work on your inner, work on your inner self. Straight like that. Um, and then also you gotta free yourself from the past because that keeps you stagnant. And it's like a lot of people like, well, what past? The traumatic stuff that has gone through in your past that's interfering with your life now. The effed up things that people have done to you in your past that you're holding on to. And things that you may have said or done or even certain belief systems that are originated in the past that is overlapping into your life now, that's something to think about. Straight like that, because it prevents you from moving forward. And that's what ultimately this is really about. Like, kind of like moving forward. Like, who wants to be 65 years old and you thinking about something that happened when you was in elementary school, or you when you was 5 years old? Like, oh my God, when I was 5 years old. Like, come on now. You should be embracing where you are at in your life. Like, I feel like it's certain transitions and certain states of minds that we should be in, right? Um, but unfortunately, a lot of us are not there because of trauma, because of being so judgmental on ourselves, because of being toxic. Sometimes we could be toxic to ourselves, to other people, you know. Sometimes we have to just um say or get rid of the past. Straight like that. Past that are holding us back, right? You know, because you have to free yourself. You have to free yourself and become the best version of yourself. You have to free yourself and become the best version of yourself. And the only reason that you can do this is identifying what you need to free. Like, what you need to, like, what is it that's holding you back? Some people don't even know that they are so judgmental on themselves because it becomes instilled in them. It becomes like this habit or something, a habit of hating themselves and not liking nothing about themselves. It becomes a habit of trying to, um, you know, improve something that really doesn't even really need to be improved. You know, that's why you see some people who are fixated or addicted to surgery. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Um, I remember this guy. He just liked being with different kind of women. Like, he just liked that. And this one particular woman kind of got like obsessed with him. Like, and she felt like it was something wrong with her, so she felt like she had to fix everything about herself, go do different surgeries and all this stuff. And it was just like, no, that was who he was. You know what I'm saying? He he made it in his mind that he made a goal, like, I'm gonna be with X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna be with all kinds of women, small, skinny, tall, short. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you got all your limbs or you don't have your limbs. You disabled, delayed, speech impediment, extra smart. You know what I'm saying? Doing above average. Like, that was just his goal, right? But this woman took it so personal. Like, it's something about me. I have to fix myself. I have to become perfect for this guy. And it's just like, you don't change yourself for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Self love comes from within. That's you know what I'm saying? Because people could lie. They could say they want one thing, but in their mind they really want something else. It just doesn't make sense. And when somebody is ready to move on, let them move on. Let them do what it is that they felt like they're here to do. We're not really meant to be with people forever. When I was a teenager, you could not tell me that. I wouldn't. If I was a teenager, I wouldn't have believed you. right? I would have felt like, oh, well, I'm supposed to be with one person forever. And that's what keeps people stuck and stagnant in relationships that does not even, you know, that doesn't even benefit them. Why do you think people stay in abusive relationships so long? Because of certain belief systems, right? Some people believe that, oh, I'm supposed to be with this one person forever. And they trap themselves with this person. They trap themselves with this person. No. Especially when you become aware of it. If someone treats you like garbage, they don't care about you, that speaks volumes. It speaks so much volumes, right? And like freeing yourself is also creating a path for yourself. Right? You free yourself, you open the doors for other things to happen, right? Something that's so empowering um, uh, that was said to me is that a closed door is just as good as an open door. Rejection is protection. It's God's protection. You know what I'm saying? When someone walk out, it's just like that gives you ammo to work on yourself. You know, and it's nothing wrong with transitioning into creating a life for yourself or something that you want or creating a path for yourself. It's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's nothing wrong with having goals that didn't work out and you sitting down and working on a new set of goals for yourself, or even working on or trying to imagine or visualize a new life for yourself after the life that you thought you was going to have failed. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. But people want you to think that it's wrong with something wrong with that. And no, it's not at all. Sometimes you have to kind of sit down with yourself and figure out how you want things to be now. And sometimes you do that by yourself. I know a lot of people are really into doing vision boards and cutting out paper and cutting out different pictures and different words that, you know, in alignment with what they want now. And if that works for you, that's something you do. But if it doesn't work for you, then you figure out what works for you. Some people like to write, you know. Um, some people like to visualize. Some people just like action, period. They don't like doing nothing, none of that stuff. They like doing action, you know. And some people work slow. Some people just feel like they need time because they still processing everything. And it's okay, you know. But the thing that I want to stress is knowing that you can create a new path for yourself, right? Because we have the ability to live whatever life that we want to have, right? And I honestly believe that it's genuinely in our birthright to do so, right? But some people make other people feel or think that they don't deserve to have whatever it is that they want out of life, and even go to the extent to create force blocks or trying to make them feel bad for wanting different and talking them down and speaking to them like they insignificant, right? And you know how many people out there that be trying to go so hard and trying to say like little side slick ass stuff to you. You know what that feels like, you know. And it could be these people that you told your secrets to, or you told intimate things to, and they try to incorporate that, right? But regardless of that, like, you gotta see through the BS, right? Because ultimately it's your life, and it's your life. You can choose what you want to happen or which direction you want to go in, regardless of anything. If you say to yourself that you want to have a more happy life, then you start doing the things that's going to make you happy. You have to figure out what makes you happy if you don't know, and go after it. But if it's not up because it's not up to anybody else to make you happy, right? Some people feel like um other people is supposed to make you happy, and you're not happy if you don't have someone else around you, right? It's some people out there that could go out and do things by themselves, and they don't need other people to make them happy. Like, you could go to like a different country by themselves, and they be so happy, be so content, and then they be making content in regards to that, and other people feel like, well, damn, they look so happy by themselves, and they do the same thing, and they can't do the same thing. They can't be happy by themselves. They gotta call 1,000 people just to talk on the phone because they don't want to be by themselves. They need to talk. They need to be around other people, and that's all right for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is really all about becoming self-aware. Some people need a path with other people straight like that. It is what it is. Some people enjoy their own company, and some people don't enjoy their own company. And some people swap. Sometimes you could be by yourself for so long, you say to yourself like, oh, well, I want to be around other people. I want to, do other things. I want to open my path to incorporate other people, and that's fine. And it could be someone who be like, well, I'm always around people. I have so many groups of friends, family, and now I want to be by myself. And that's fine. And that's spending time with yourself and really learning yourself and open yourself up to a new path and creating a new path for yourself. Right? Because some people love being outdoors and traveling. That brings them happiness. You know, and that's what it is. And some people don't like that at all, and that's a fact. Some people don't like that. You know, but it's really ultimately up to you as what it is that you want to do. But whatever's keeping you stuck, where you can't move forward, you have to free yourself from that. You have to free yourself from that. And there's certain things that you have to go about doing to do that. Like, yeah, like, you could free yourself from it, you know, right? Um, but how do one really free themselves? You have to identify what it is and work towards what you want now, and kind of like be consistent with it. You have to. You have to. But I thank you so much for really tuning in. I would like to invite all you guys to be a part of this virtual call. It's called Mindset for Beautiful Transformation. Tap into newness, and this will be Friday, February 28, 2025 at 8 p.m. for 45 minutes. This is a live virtual call, and it's $75, and it's cash app payments only. If you want to join, send an email to beautifulstartforyou@gmail.com. This is going to be very insightful because sometimes people can't free themselves because they be trapped in a certain mindset, straight like that, and they don't know how to kind of like proceed and move forward. And that's basically what it's ultimately about, moving forward. Like some people be stuck in a certain age, a certain time frame. And it's just like, no, sometimes you have to free that and put yourself in a different mindset, you know. So definitely sign up for this. Like I said, the title is Mindset for Beautiful Transformation. Tap into newness. It's going to be Friday, February 28th, and it's a live virtual call. It is $75 and cash at payments only. Only a limited people can be a part of it. Just limited. Once I reach a certain amount, that's it. It's going to be shut down. Nobody else can sign up for it. But I thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna be back. Um, yeah, I'm gonna be back. If you don't, let me tell you something. I know this is I'm being consistent now, but it's been a while since I kind of like been on um YouTube. But if you don't ever hear from me on YouTube, definitely go to beautifulstarpodcast.com because there's always something going on there. But I am going to work towards being consistent on here. But I want you guys, all you guys, to join the Mindset for Beautiful Transformation Tap into Newness. I want you guys to sign up for it. This is definitely very informative and very life changing. And if this is your first time tuning into the YouTube channel, definitely subscribe. Comment below if you guys have ever had experiences with freeing yourself. What did you free yourself from? Um, just talk to me. This is just definitely open. Thank you so much. All right, peace.